Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me Melissa, and today we're going to be doing a review for Ready to Love Season 8 Episode 11, where the couples had to meet each other's family members. So we're stuck right now with Katarina, Lee, Phil, Aries, Quinton, Janelle, Jessica, Mauri. Most of these couples have zero connection. So at this point, I feel like we're wasting time. Get to the reunion and let's figure out what happened throughout those past months. Also, let's figure out who's still together and who's not, because we're already not buying what's going on. So anyways, so for this episode, I'm gonna talk about each date and call out the BS. So we have Jessica and Kat, who is competing for Mauri. As I said before, and somebody also said it as well, sometimes there are people who end up in the final three, and we're all shaking our heads wondering why. Because I do not think that anybody expected to see Mauri in the top three. It doesn't have anything to do with aesthetics. It has everything to do with the fact that his strongest connection has always been Jessica. So having one strong connection, how did you make it so far? You know what I'm saying? The Katarina thing, you know what bothers me the most with Mauri? How are you saying that Jessica's been your strongest connection for the longest while, but now you're saying you can't choose between Jessica and Katarina? If one strong connection is stronger than the other, what's the dilemma? What's the dilemma? What has changed to now put Kat in the running? That boggles my mind. I'm not saying things cannot happen and you cannot discover some things about certain people later on. That's all well and dandy. That's fine. That's normal. But to put them on the same level as if it's always been that way is crazy. And for Katarina to move up to Jessica's level in such a short space of time, it just seems fishy to me. That's all I'm gonna say. Either way it goes, neither one of these women seem interested in Mauri. At this point, it just seems that they're competing to see who's gonna win. Me, Jessica, or me, Kat. They already don't like each other, and we know that because Katarina was shading Jessica this entire episode. First it was Jessica, then she was throwing digs. So it's like you guys get mad at one another for certain things and y'all do the same thing. So it's like, what's the difference? Y'all are like literally the same people, but y'all want to like position yourselves as, oh, this is the good side and this is the bad side. I just think it's BS. Y'all all do the same catty stuff. Either way it goes, Mauri meets with Jessica. They all meet his cousin. Mauri does one small thing, he prays. And the cousin pipes it up as if it's such a huge thing. Remember, Mauri says he's not ultra religious, he's spiritual. So him praying more so seems to me like he's performing as opposed to prayer being something he actually does. And not because I don't think spiritual people pray, but I just feel like he's trying to appease Jessica by praying. So the fact that the cousin is like, yeah, you see him pray, give him kudos for that. I'm like, lady, like you're doing absolutely too much for the bare minimum. And that seems very performative. But either way, Jessica was not impressed. She was like, I already know he's not really religious like me. I already know he's not or doesn't hold the same beliefs as I do. So the prayer thing didn't really get me. But what I will say is, if Jessica has this really big major contention with the way Mauri chooses to access his spiritual side. What else is there? What other conversation is there to have? Now, let me just put in the benefit of the doubt. Right now, I feel as if production is saying to the contestants, the remaining of you, like the whole cast can't just leave. If the whole cast leaves, there's no show. So it's not realistic for them to get up and leave. As much as we see that them staying makes absolutely no sense because we see right through their lies, they have to stay and they have to make the most of the rest of the show. But nothing is believable. Jessica is saying that she clearly has an issue with relocating, which is something he really wants to do. She has an issue with his religious persuasion, right? These are two major things, right? And then when you're asked if you have any issue with Mauri or if there's any cause for pause, you essentially say no. You're lying. You're lying. Now, Mauri, him saying Kat and Jessica, he doesn't know who to choose, that's cap. He's lying at this point. Katarina acting like Maurier is her dream guy and that cap. BS. Complete and utter nonsense. Like, stop playing in our faces. And I noticed that they tried to make Jessica and Kat diametrically oppose each other. Oh, Jessica is more stuck up in this way and Kat is more freer in that way. Jessica is not into the crystals and the stones and but Katarina is into it. And Jessica is not into the relocation thing, but Katarina is into it or open to it. Jessica is not into or wants kids, which is the only thing she aligns with Maurier on. But Katarina doesn't care for kids. Like, she could have it, she doesn't need to have it. But for some reason, I feel like she doesn't want any kids. So these people are completely opposite. Nothing about them is similar. So it kind of leads me to believe that Mauri is just playing a game at this point. It's not anything to do with, oh, he likes them because they are similar. They're very different. And he's just saying things for this amazing finale episode that's supposed to be coming. But it's not working because we see right through it. Anyway, let's move on. We get into the situation now with Quinton and Janelle and Lee. And Lee meets with his cousin and his whole thing is, oh, Lee's so sweet, Lee's so nice. But Lee is like, I gave you an opportunity to meet with me, speak to me, and you never even tried. You never even attempted to during the getaway. You stayed with Janelle the entire time. Not once did you say, oh, let me go spend some time with my other connection, Lee. I feel as if it's reasonable for him to have done that. I don't feel like Janelle should have felt or would have felt anyway for Quinton to go spend time with his other connection. After all, that's his other connection. That's what he's been telling us. But what I think really happened is he forgot about Lee a long time ago. You see, very similar to the way Chris said after the meeting at the workplace, him and Jessica were really not that much of a connection. And that was earlier on. But we didn't see it that way. Jessica didn't see it that way. It's kind of similar to the way Quinton is telling us he has a connection with two women, especially with Lee, and we don't see it that way. And Lee doesn't quite see it that way either. So I feel like a lot of the misunderstanding is to do with miscommunication. These men lose interest in these women way earlier than they're willing to admit. And these women are often the last to figure it out. I know with Jessica, her issue with Chris is like she was saying Chris is messaging her and saying particular things, but on the show he was acting a different way. He's telling the audience of Crystal XO and whoever that he had lost interest in Jessica a while ago. But you're not telling the audience that she didn't know that. And we see that Chris has a tendency to be passive aggressive. So it's not something that is unusual for him to do. Be one way behind somebody's back and a different way in front of their back, in front of their face. But anyways, I'm digressing. So he's saying Lee's so sweet. He's saying, thank you, Lee, for allowing me to spend all my time with Janelle, which is crazy. Because where's the respect for Lee? Quinton showed zero respect and zero care for Lee. And I hate that for her. You know? And what I hated even more was throughout his interactions with Lee, he was making it seem as if Lee had a chance. Or he didn't know where he was gonna go or who he was gonna choose. Like, who are you fooling, Quinton? This is not a matter of saying things. This is a matter of action. And your action spoke loudly. Your action said, I'm not interested in Lee. I'm interested in Janelle. So what I don't appreciate is you lying to Lee and telling her that there's still a chance when you know and she know there's no chance. Which is why I'm extremely happy that she decided to leave when she realized that Quinton was playing around and she just was not being second place to mean girl Janelle. She wasn't interested in it. I wouldn't be interested in being second to somebody that treats people horribly and calls people bees and ugly and says they have fake purses and ready to fight people. Like, I wouldn't want to be second to that type of character. It's actually insulting to be second, you being sweet and nice and caring and lovely, losing in a sense to somebody who's vicious and mean and combative and argumentative and aggressive and opinionated and stubborn and unwilling to change her bad ways. I would leave too. That is insulting. And it speaks to the fact that Quinton is a bad judge of character. He goes for women that is a challenge to him. He goes for women that are unavailable. And he tries to make them available. And he ends up losing every time. Anyways, he's falling into a very similar trap with Janelle. Because during the date with Janelle, meeting his cousin, the cousin said he needs someone soft. We all know that Janelle Langford is not a soft woman. And despite her saying it's something she's working on, she doesn't want to be soft. So her saying that is like, I mean, people say anything to win. But I feel like deep down inside, Quinton knows that Janelle is not for him. The bigger issue is he wants children. He wants his own biological children. And Janelle has made it clear that she wants to adopt. And she's not having any 4 children. Especially conceiving them. She said she was adopting. You were on board with it in previous episodes, and all of a sudden you want your own kids? Like, what is going on here? What do these people want? They say one thing 1 minute, and then they say a completely different thing the next minute. Like, don't compromise what you want because you like someone. That's crazy at your big age. With your big muscle back. You're willing to temporarily change what you want because you like Janelle. And then now you want to go into, or you want to conceive your own biological children. At this stage, that's what you're gonna say? That's a big point of contention. And if Janelle still goes for Quinton after realizing that they have this huge disconnect as far as children is concerned, then that would prove that you guys are just trying to win a show. Because that's a major difference. It's a big deal breaker. And Janelle comes across like she doesn't compromise for anything. But I feel like she is willing to do that for Quinton for some reason. Whether it be to win this show, whether it be to look as if she won, I don't know what it is, but it just does not make sense. When the show is over and you guys only have your four walls and the two of you, we're not gonna be in your business. So there's nothing you have to prove to us, because we don't give a hell. We don't care. It's about you and him. But either way it goes, let's move on. So he essentially chose the harder woman, but the cousin is saying he wants a soft woman. Like, make it make sense. So Lee left. She's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be made a fool of. It's clear. He's made his choice. He's saying one thing, doing a completely different thing. And she left. Kudos to Lee for that. Very good. Now, let's move on to Phil and Aries, the last couple. The point of the matter is, now that the fluffy moments are over and the googly moments are over and people are getting down to the brass taxes of things, Aries has become more stern in what she wants from Phil, which is why she's so persistent and she keeps on asking, particularly about his stability. She wants a solid answer on whether he's gonna be able to be stable with her and her kids. If not, let Aries know so she can bounce. Don't try to make it as if, I don't know what Lee's trying to ask. I don't know what Aries is trying to ask me. I think it's about finances. You know it's about finances. You two, Aries and Phil, are literally skirting around a very important issue. An issue that's clearly very important for Aries. Just ask him out loud. Are you able to support me and my kids financially if we do decide to get in a relationship? Period. That's the question. The only thing he can say is yes and why and no and why. And she could decide, okay, that doesn't make sense, and move on. It's not difficult. But what I think the issue is that they've already started liking each other before the difficult questions have been asked. And that's the issue. You don't go into this with the teenage love, unserious type of vibe, and then you catch feelings. It doesn't work that way. You first ask the serious questions to know if you could fall in love with that person, to know if it's safe for you to start liking that person. They went about it completely backwards. And then now it's coming down to the end and they have to make a choice. Now everything has become so serious and she keeps asking about finances. But somebody made a very important point when it pertains to Aries and why she keeps on asking about Phil's finances. It's essentially that she wants security. And him not clearly reassuring her about where he stands financially is why she keeps bringing it up, right? And I feel as if right now she's looking beyond this show and she's starting to look at real life and realizing that Phil is probably not where it's at for her. And Phil got really defensive at the date. He's like, she keeps bringing up this finance thing. I mean, if she wants to go, she can go, but she'll regret it because she'll be missing out because I know what I got going on. Right? And he also said something else. If she wants to go, she could go. And I'm okay with that. She could, as long as she comes back, or some nonsense of that sort he was saying. I don't know. But I just don't see it for them. People say they see it for Phil and Aries. I don't see it for them. Financially, which is a big fundamental thing, it's not gonna last long. They seem nice together, but let's go beyond the aesthetic. It's not gonna work. Janelle and Phil, not gonna work in the long term. Maybe they'll choose each other. Because I feel like in this show, in this particular episode, I think it would look crazy for nobody to choose each other. So I think even if they don't want to, production would have somebody, or some couple choose each other. Just so it could seem like a successful season. I don't know if Aries will be the one they will ask, or if Janelle will be the one they ask, but it's not gonna last. I feel like Aries might end up choosing herself. I feel like Janelle will choose Quinton. And as far as Mauri choosing the women, like which woman he's gonna choose, I have no clue. If he chooses Kat, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be out of the blue, like out of nowhere. Which leads me to think he might choose Jessica instead. Now, whether Jessica would say yes or no, I don't know. If Jessica does say yes, it would completely be to save face. But she's been lying a bit in these last couple episodes. She's saying she doesn't have an issue with Mauri when she has several issues with Mauri. At this point, the women, Kat and Jessica, represent two divides within this cast. We have Jessica, Janelle, Mauri, and Quinton by association to Janelle, and then we have the rest of the cast. Lee, Kat, Aries. Phil is not really in it with any of them, but I'm gonna put him in on that side because he's linked to Aries, which is sad. So there's this huge divide. Who's gonna win? Team good or team bad is what it seems like to me. So either way it goes, let's see, because actually Mauri's cousin is like, he choose Kat instead because Kat seems easier to deal with. Jessica is more uppity, which everybody says about Jessica. Remember, the cousin didn't say combative, the cousin said she's uppity. Okay? Either way it goes, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think about this particular episode? Are you ready for this to be over? Because I am. And also probably later I'll post my thoughts on the Jessica Chris situation that had exploded on social media throughout this week. Let me know in the comment section again what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.